Hare Krishna, welcome you all. So today we are going to learn from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 2, chapter 9, verse number 23 and 24. The theme of these two verses is tapasya. So the secret behind the spiritual power. So we will try to draw some themes or the philosophical points from Srimad Bhagavatam in these particular two verses and try to understand in detail today. So before we enter into the topic, I'll just ask a question. Why does Krishna allow confusion, reversals, and struggles? Can anybody contribute to make the devotee strong enough? Okay. Ah, everything is Krishna. Yeah, just by hearing we cannot realize. So Krishna makes us to undergo some troubles so that we will turn towards Krishna and understand him more. Good. We can take shelter of the Lord when we are in struggles. Okay. Prabhuji, anybody else? Yes, Mataji. हाँ, माया क्या कर रहे हैं हमारे साथ हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Very nice. So we all are having struggles or not? Hmm? Is there anybody who says that I'm not struggling? Hmm? We all are struggling for career. We are all struggling in family life, and we all are struggling for with health issues, right? And also we are unable to chant, struggling in spiritual practice also, right? We are unable to chant, and there are spiritual ups and downs. Okay, these are all. And also one important thing is we desire something and it will not get fulfilled so easily, and Krishna ensures that the whatever we desire we get it delayed. Okay, so that we undergo some penance, some austerity, so that we realize what we are. Okay, so today's lesson is also all about um, the secret of tapasya, and Krishna keeps us in confusion sometimes and gives us reversals and struggles, and this is the arrangement of Krishna so that he will bring us closer to him. Okay, tapasya meant for bringing all of us close to him. Okay, so let's recite the verse. Pratyadishtam maya tatra tvayi karma vimohite tapo me hrudayam sakshat atmanam tapaso nagham. Pratyadishtam maya tatra tvayi karma vimohite tapo me hrudayam Krishna sakshat atmaham tapaso nagham. Pratyadishtam maya tatra tvayi karma vimohite tapo me hrudayam sakshat atmaham tapaso nagham. Anybody? Pratyadishtam maya tatra tvayi karma vimohite tapo me hrudayam sakshat atmanam tapaso nagham. प्रत्यादिष्टं मया तत्र त्वयि कर्मा विमोहिते तमो मे विदयं साक्षात् आत्माहं तपसो नघ प्रत्यादिष्टं मया तत्र त्वयि कर्मा विमोहिते तपो मे हृदयं साक्षात् आत्माहं तपसो नघ प्रत्यादिष्टं मया तत्र त्वयि कर्मा विमोहिते तपो मे हृदयं साक्षात् आत्मानं तपसो नघ Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. O sinless Brahma, you may know from me that it was I who first ordered you to undergo penance when you were perplexed in your duty. Such penance is my heart and soul, and therefore penance and I are non-different. Next verse 2.9.24. Srijami tapasaivedham grasami tapasa punam bibharmi tapasa vishwam वीर्यं मे दुश्चरं तपा सृजामि तपसैवेधं ग्रसामि तपसा पुनः बिभर्मि तपसा विश्वं वीर्यं मे दुश्चरं तपा सृजामि तपसा वेधं ग्रसामि तपसा पुनः बिभर्मि तपसा विश्वं वीर्यं मे दुश्चरं तपा. Translation: I create this cosmos by such penance. I maintain it by the same energy, and I withdraw it all by the same energy. Therefore, the potency is the penance only. Okay. In the previous verse, Krishna was telling about the penance, that he is the penance. He himself is the penance. And in this verse, Krishna is telling the penance is my energy. The austerity is my energy. So Krishna is creating, maintaining, and destroying this whole cosmos using his own energy, which is penance. Okay. So let's do Mangalacharan before we get into the explanation of this verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्यति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे. Actually, this verse is spoken in second canto in ninth chapter by Lord Krishna with Brahmadev. The context of this verse is that when Brahmadev did austerity, he could see the Vaikuntha Loka. Generally, the devotees, when they do tapasya, they might have taken darshan of Lord Krishna, but whereas in case of Brahmadev, he has also taken the Vaikuntha darshan. Okay, so the whole Vaikuntha darshan he has taken. When he has taken the darshan, so Lord Krishna was speaking to him. So at that time only he has given Chatushloki Bhagavatam as well. Okay. And he was glorifying about the tapasya in this particular two verses. So actually when Brahmadev appeared in the lotus in this material universe, he could not see anything. Everything is dark. And there is no direction. And there is no guru, no mentor. And there is no scriptures which can guide him what he do, what he cannot do. And in fact, there is no Google and ChatGPT. Okay, so it was very difficult for Brahmadev to understand who is he and what he has to do and what is his responsibility. So then he heard tapa tapa, which was inspiration from Lord Krishna himself for Brahmadev to perform the austerity. Okay, so Brahmadev asked, who am I and what am I supposed to do? Okay, so this is exactly the condition of every conditioned soul, right? We all are in the temporary lotus and we all are confused of what we can do and what we cannot do. And in fact, at that situation, what we do shapes us. In fact, the confusion is very much important in our life. It's not that we live life without any confusion. Okay, so at some point of time, we get confusion. But when confusion arises, we should hear. We should hear from authority, like how Brahmadev did. Brahma heard from Lord Krishna that tapa tapa. So we should also hear from Krishna or authorized or bona fide spiritual master. Because there is no difference between Krishna and spiritual master. Anything that spiritual master says is same as what Lord Krishna says. So there is no difference. So we should hear from spiritual master or authorized, a representative of a spiritual master. If we can hear that, we can, clear our confusion and we can understand the purpose of our life. Because we are in the same situation like how Brahma is, we don't know the purpose of our life and we don't know our identity. Right? We all don't know our identity. We all are seeking happiness in this material universe and we all are striving for success. We all are striving for success. We don't know how to get the success. And we are all stuck in the relationships as well. And we don't know whether these relationships will help us getting our identity or not. Okay, in this situation, if we can hear a spiritual master's instructions, which is equal to the instructions of Lord Krishna, then that will help us. So if you hear what Krishna is telling here is tapa and tapa. So tapa does not mean to enjoy, right? Tapa does not mean to enjoy, or tapna does not mean to control the material universe. We all want to become a master. We all don't want to become a servant. We want hundreds of servants, and we want to control over the people. We want to control over the nature. And also, we also want to accumulate, right? We also want to accumulate. So this is not the meaning for tapasya. This is not the meaning what Lord Krishna wanted Brahma to do. You got a material nature. You appeared in the lotus, and this material nature is meant for your enjoyment. This is not what Krishna is telling for Brahma. So tapa means purify yourself. The purpose of this life on this lotus is meant for purification. Once you start purifying yourself, the process of purifying yourself is tapasya. Once you do that, you can see Krishna face to face. You can realize what Krishna is telling. So that is the purpose of tapasya. Okay, in this particular verse, Krishna is telling, Tvayi karma vimohite. Tvayi karma vimohite. What does it mean? Actually, you are perplexed regarding your duty. This is what Krishna is telling. You are perplexed with your duty. So sometimes we all are confused in the same state, and we all need to understand why Krishna has put us in such a situation, such a condition. Why is my mind disturbed? Why am I confused? Why there is no clarity in my life? Okay, this is something that we need to understand. If we don't understand this, we don't get clarity, right? In fact, Arjuna also was in confusion. In the Bhagavad Gita first chapter, if you see, Arjuna was in confusion. And from that confusion, Bhagavad Gita came. Right? If Arjuna was not in a confusion, the situation would have been different. And the Bhagavad Gita was taught to all of us through Arjuna. Arjuna was simply a medium for us to understand Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is given for us. So Arjuna was trembling, and he was crying and dropping the Gandiva. And he was confused morally. Right? He was confused morally. Then Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So the important point is Arjuna surrendered to Krishna before Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. This is the most important point. The surrender is something is possible only when we are humble. And the humbleness comes only when you are confused. Right? If you are not confused, then you are proud of the knowledge that you have, of the wealth you have, of the position that you have. Right? So that is the reason Krishna will keep us in confusion. If Krishna is not keeping us in confusion, we will never become humble, and we will never surrender. So the purpose of the confusion is to surrender. So one of us have told the purpose of confusion is to surrender. Those confusion is the doorway for surrender. So the materially we all are proud, and we will never surrender. Okay, it's very important for us to undergo some struggles, some confusion. Otherwise, Krishna thinks will never turn towards Krishna. Okay. Next, another important point from the verse is tapo me hrudayam sakshat. Tapo me hrudayam sakshat. Tapasya is Krishna's heart and soul. And Krishna says, tapasya is non-different from me. Krishna says tapasya is non-different from me. So Krishna is not saying tapasya is good, tapasya is useful. Do tapasya. Okay. Krishna is not telling that. But what is Krishna telling? Krishna is telling tapasya is my heart and soul, and tapasya is non-different from me. Okay. That means by doing tapasya, what you realize? You realize Krishna. By doing tapasya, we realize Krishna. So, if one is choosing to do tapasya, means he is choosing Krishna over his impulses. Right? He is choosing Krishna. So, it is very important for all of us to undergo tapasya so that we choose Krishna. We are choosing Krishna. Many people misunderstand with tapasya. Okay, many people misunderstand with tapasya. They think that the tapasya means torturing the body. Tapasya means the torturing the body or artificial suffering. Artificial suffering, or it may be a dry renunciation. Okay. That is the reason there are people who do austerity for the mystic powers. Okay. They stand on the toes for years together, and they stand in the hot summer by keeping the fire around. So these are all the tapas, and also they take bath in the cold winter, in a freezing cold. They take a bath in the river. So these are all tapasyas that they are basically torturing their bodies. Okay. But this is not actually the tapasya that Krishna is meaning here. Krishna is telling about the devotional tapasya. Krishna is not talking about this artificial, suffering or artificial renunciation, or maybe torturing the body. So the tapasya that Krishna is talking here is about the voluntarily accepting the inconvenience for the spiritual purification. Right? So Krishna is talking about facing the inconvenience which is temporary for the permanent benefit. That is called tapasya. So in bhakti, the tapasya means waking up early in the morning, attending Mangalarti, chanting, observing Ekadasi fasting, and tolerating the dualities, and controlling the senses, controlling especially the tongue by taking prasadam and by speaking only about Krishna, and by hearing from Krishna, even though we are not, interested, even though our body is not, supporting us, we are forcibly sitting here and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. That is also tapasya. Okay. So even our mind is resisting us to do devotional service, but we are doing devotional service, practicing sadhana, which is tapasya, and also doing service to the devotees, right? Donating the energy that we have is also a tapasya. This is called real tapasya. So material life means the comfort-centered life, whereas the spiritual life means Krishna-centered life, right? So we all, see for the comforts. For getting the comfort, we do hard work. I don't understand. We are doing tapasya for getting comfort, but that's not possible. We will never be comfortable as long as we work, right? As long as we are doing a hard work. So why are we going for offices? Why are you doing hard work from morning to evening and coming back and sleeping and getting up early in the morning and going back to office and doing the same thing every day, right? This is not tapasya. This is material tapasya. But material tapasya is done for comforts. Material tapasya is done for comforts and happiness, but we will try to see the maximum comfort and minimize the inconvenience in our material life. But Bhagavatam is not saying that. Bhagavatam is saying us to tolerate temporary inconvenience so that you will get permanent, eternal purification and Krishna with that purification. So if you see, people may ask, so should we not do hard work for getting the material benefits? It is important, yes. When we all have desires, we all work hard to fulfill our desires. In the same way, Dhruva Maharaj also has a lot of desires, material desires, like he want to become a king of the kingdom, which is greater than his great grandfather. Okay, but when he has that desire, he approached Narada Muni, spiritual master, and spiritual master has given him instruction to do tapasya. Right? So he accepted what spiritual master said and he performed the tapasya. He reduced eating. Right? He reduced eating. He was in deep meditation and he has done the intense devotion. So tell me, by this tapasya that he has done, was his material desire fulfilled or not fulfilled? It was fulfilled. He got a great kingdom, right? He got a great kingdom. And in fact, whatever he has not asked, also he got by Krishna. Okay. His senses are powerful and he will never become old. He will never get a disease. And he can enjoy this material nature as long as he is in this material nature. Tell me, is it possible for anyone in this material world? He has simply not got the kingdom alone. He has given the energy, he has given the body which can never grow old, which can never get diseases, which can never feel stressed. Such a body was given to Dhruva Maharaj so that he can enjoy to the best in this material world. Okay, so next point from the purports, I have taken few points and then I'm trying to elaborate discussion around the purport. So devotional tapasya produces detachment automatically. Okay. So we have seen in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, so he has done austerity, and with that austerity, he was detached with whatever he got, and he said whatever he got is equal to broken glass pieces. Okay, that is the detachment. So, in fact, the real detachment does not come by force; it comes by the higher taste. When you are in a devotional service, then only you will get a real detachment. Some people renounce by force, but that is not the real detachment. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentioned the real detachment is not renouncing everything, rather utilize everything in the service of Krishna. That is called Yukta Vairagya. Okay, so Krishna mentioned that. In fact, even if you consider Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami was also having a great wealth. He can enjoy the way he wants. But he was renouncing, not artificially. So because of the love for Krishna, he has renounced everything. Right? Because of the love for Krishna, he has renounced it. Because he tasted the higher taste compared to what he can get in the material enjoyment. So he's having unimaginable wealth. In fact, unimaginable wealth. But um, but he felt like whatever he possesses, his palace, his positions, everything that he has is like a prison. Okay, and his luxury has become a burden for him. So he left everything and he went to Vrindavan, Radha Kund, and he has taken minimum food, what is required for his body to survive, and he's absorbed completely in the remembrance of Krishna. Okay? So this is the superior happiness that Raghunath Das Goswami got compared to the happiness that he can get using his material positions and the wealth. Okay. So we all want Krishna, but we don't want to take discomforts. Right? We all want Krishna, but we don't want to take discomfort. That means we want Krishna and we want Maya together. Right? We want Krishna and Maya together. But Prabhupada is telling it's not possible. Those who want Krishna should be free from Maya. So you cannot keep one foot on the boat and one feet on the shore, right? It's not possible. If you want to really, attain Krishna, if you want to realize Krishna, then you should be freed from Maya. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was mentioned clearly that Krishna and Maya both cannot be possible for one person. So we should be free from Maya. So material enjoyment is temporary. Okay, so the Maya is giving us only temporary enjoyments, but whereas the spiritual enjoyment, the higher taste, the bliss is permanent because Krishna is eternal. And the position that we get once we are liberated is also eternal position. Okay. Uh, Another important point from purport is Krishna sometimes removes material support to save us, to protect us. Okay. So sometimes Krishna removes wealth, prestige, relationships, and material security. For what? Why is Krishna making all these arrangements? Especially for those who are non devotees, especially those who are acting as devotees and enjoying the material pleasure. Right? Not for a pure devotees. Don't worry. Pure devotees will get everything, even though they don't want, like Dhruv Maharaj got. Right? In the name of devotee, people enjoy these material enjoyments. Okay? For them, or for the people who are never remembering Krishna or who are not believing in Krishna and who are completely atheistic life they are living, Krishna will punish them by taking everything from them. Okay, there are two examples that we will take. One is Bali Maharaj. Krishna has taken everything from him, right? Krishna has taken everything from him. In fact, his spiritual master Shukracharya was telling not to surrender yourself to Krishna. Right? Vaman Dev has taken everything from Bali Maharaj. But what did Bali Maharaj get? Bali Maharaj get Krishna himself. Right? Bali Maharaj, Krishna has become a gatekeeper for Bali Maharaj. This is one thing. Okay. Okay. So by surrendering yourself, by giving everything to Krishna, Krishna will give everything to us. He will not take anything from us. He will give us back. In fact, if you see Sudama, Sudama has given 100% what he has to Krishna. And Krishna has given everything that he even cannot expect to Sudama. Okay, that's how Krishna will give everything back to us, provided you do a pure devotional service to Krishna. Okay. But whereas one particular story comes in Srimad Bhagavatam about Avanti Brahman. Okay. Avanti Brahman. All of you aware of Avanti Brahman? Okay. So Avanti Brahman was a greedy person. He is a Brahman, but he never lived like a Brahman. He lives like a Vaishya. He does a lot of businesses, not one business, lot of business. And he acquires a lot of money, properties, everything. But he never enjoyed it. And he does not want his own family to enjoy that. Okay, he's such a greedy person. Whatever he earned with his talent, with his caliber, he never wanted his family members to enjoy. And at the same time, he also will never enjoy. He also will never enjoy. So Krishna given him such a situation where he lost everything. He lost everything he earned. In fact, it is lost because of the thieves. It is lost because of the relatives. It is lost because of government taking in the form of taxes, and he lost everything by his own business partners. Okay, so he lost everything, and then nobody was respecting him at that time when he lost everything. Nobody was respecting him. In fact, his own relations, his own family members, his own wife, kids are not respecting him. That's when his realizations started. So this Avanti Brahman sang a great song which is called Bhikshu Gita. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it comes as a Bhikshu Gita. Avanti Brahman spoke. So in Bhikshu Gita, he was telling about the positions that he has are temporary. Okay, in fact, when he was renounced and he realized that everything that he possesses is waste in this life, and he has to get a material pleasure. So he has to get a Krishna instead of material pleasure. Then he went for austerity, and in fact, he left everything. Although he has a position to stay along with his family members, although they are hating him, but he left everything and he went around the whole universe, whole world. He was roaming. When he was doing that, a lot of people were teasing him. They are taking away the kamandal or the japamala, whatever he has, and they are tearing his shirt and they are pulling his legs, and and they are spitting on him. They are throwing stones on him. All these things they are doing. In fact, because of the tapasya that he has done, because of the realizations that he has, in Bhikshu Gita, what he was speaking was amazing. You know what he was telling? Whatever I am facing today is because of myself, not because of anybody else. There are no dualities in him. He has become like a pure devotee. Avanti Brahman has become like a pure devotee. And he is telling, if I, cut my tongue with my own teeth, whom should I blame? Okay. While we are eating, okay, we might cut our teeth with our own tongue with our teeth. Then whom should we blame? Can we blame anybody else? We have to blame ourselves. We cannot blame anybody. In the same way, whatever sufferings that I am getting today is because of myself. Maybe somebody else outside me is the reason for that. They are the medium for that. But the sufferings are because of me only. So I can't blame even the person who is scolding me, who is making me inconvenience, who is making me struggle, is not actually the person to whom I should blame. I should blame myself. I should blame myself. Because of our past karmas, because of our past life that we lived, okay, and because of the influence of the material nature, we are suffering. So the sufferings may be coming through anybody, but the reason is we ourselves. So we don't have to blame anybody. So the most important point here is we get this purification only by austerity, only by tapasya. Unless you do tapasya, you don't achieve anything, whether it's a material success or a spiritual success. You have to do austerity. Otherwise, we don't get anything. Okay? Okay. So why Krishna uses a bamboo flute? Why Krishna uses bamboo flute? Because bamboo flute allows to cut, and bamboo flute allows to hallow. Bamboo flute allowed to empty itself. Right? So that's why Krishna keeps the bamboo flute at his lips and plays the music. Similarly, if we also allow to empty our ego, right? If we also allow to empty our ego and hallowed ourselves, then Krishna's music will start playing. Okay, so it's very important for us to give up false ego. Unless we become pure, like a bamboo flute, Krishna will not play music through us. So the renunciation or the positions that Krishna is taking away from a materialistic person, or the sufferings that Krishna is giving us, is not out of cruelty, it is out of mercy. Right? Krishna is giving us this situation out of mercy. That's why even Avanti Brahman says the situation that is given to me is because of Krishna's mercy. He has taken his situation, his sufferings, as the mercy of Krishna, so that he can realize all these things, so that he can turn towards Krishna. So it is the situation that is arranged by Krishna. If we are not turning towards Krishna, he will make us turn towards Krishna. Okay. So the tapasya means alignment with Krishna's will. Right? Tapasya does not mean taking uncomfort alone. Tapasya means we are turning towards Krishna. We are turning towards the will of Krishna. Whatever you do with the will of Krishna. Okay, that is the important. So the uncomforts sometimes we take for our material benefit also. Like Hiranyakashipu has taken the uncomfort. He has done thousands of years of tapasya. Don't you think it is a great uncomfort that he has taken? For the thousands of years, he has left his kingdom. He went and he has not eaten for so many years, and he has not taken the breath, and his body is eaten by the insects. So it's a great tapasya he has done. And even Ravanasur has done such a great tapasya. But what for they have done? Huh? To even become more powerful. Yeah, to even become more powerful than they are today. So this is not the tapasya that Krishna is telling us to do. Okay. The uncomforts that we are doing is not by following our mind, but by following Bhagavatam, which is to purify our mind. Okay. Tapasya is not to follow our mind. Tapasya is to purify our mind. In fact, Haridas Thakur has taken a great tapasya, right? You know, Haridas Thakur was beaten in 22 marketplaces. Is it not tapasya? It is tapasya. And he has a lot of temptations, and he controlled himself from temptations. One prostitute came and sat with him, but still he has controlled himself. Is it not tapasya? It is tapasya. And he was rejected by the society. Is it not tapasya? It is tapasya. He was rejected by the society. That is also tapasya. He has taken all these tapasyas only to align his will with the Krishna's will. Right? And what he wants at the end, he has not given up the Harinam. Even though, see, why he was beaten in 22 marketplaces and why he was rejected by the society is because he was chanting. Is because he was preaching Harinam. So he was treated like this. So this is also austerity that he has done. But at the end, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu given him the name as Namacharya. Right? And he said, although he is a Musalman, and he made him as an Acharya. Right? He is a Muslim, but he was made Acharya by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord himself pleased by the tapasya of Haridas Thakur. And Haridas Thakur was made a Namacharya. Okay? He never stopped his austerity for the material comforts. Right? So the tapasya born from the love for Krishna, but not from the dry renunciation. Okay? Dry renunciation. It is for the purification of mind. In the same way, Brahma also did tapasya for the so many years on the instruction of Lord Krishna, but he never speculated what he has to do independently, how he has to live. So he did tapasya and he accepted the instructions of Lord Krishna. So there are two kinds of tapasyas. We are all doing two kinds of tapasyas. One is material tapasya, which is done for power, fame, and mystic powers and the prestige. Okay. And this is done by whom? Ravanasur and Hiranyakashipu, whom we have taken as an example. Okay. And there is another tapasya, which is devotional tapasya, which is done by Brahma now. Brahma has done devotional tapasya. He has not done, we might be thinking that the Brahma has done a meditation, and from the meditation he got all these realizations. No, he has done a devotional tapasya. That's why Prabhupada is telling in the purport that he has done a devotional service, not a simple meditation like how all others does, like Hiranyakashipu and Ravanasur. Okay. So devotional tapasya is done by Brahma, which is pleasing Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj done, Ambarish Maharaj done, and even Goswami is done. Just now we have seen Raghunath Das Goswami did tapasya, and Haridas Thakur has done tapasya. Okay. So how can we practice tapasya today? Okay, the lessons from today's topic is how we do tapasya. Tapasya by tongue. Tapasya by tongue. Avoid gossips. This is what we can do. Okay. We all are interested in this, right? We can do tapasya by avoiding gossips and honor prasadam only. Honor prasadam only. Respect prasadam while taking the prasadam. Okay. Honor prasadam and chant sincerely. This is what we can do with our tongue. Okay. And tapasya by mind. Avoid comparison. Tolerate dualities. Reduce overthinking. We think too much, right? We think too much. Okay. And tapasya by time. Daily hearing. Fixed sadhana. Regulate the screen time. This is very, very important. Okay. Regulate the screen time. This is what something that we should utilize our time effectively so that the minimum time or maximum time that we spend in sadhana, not in screen. Okay. Then tapasya of ego. Accept corrections. If somebody says something, we don't accept. Somebody criticizes, we don't accept. Right? That is because of the ego. Our ego hurts. Then we don't hear anybody. We in fact take revenges on others because of the ego. So avoid that. Accept the corrections from others and serve unnoticed. Serve unnoticed. Then forgive others. If you have the nature of forgiving others, then the ego gets nullified. Okay. In fact, in today's life, we all are doing tapasya, but not like this. We all are doing gym tapasya, career tapasya, financial tapasya, right? But not chanting 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And not for waking for Mangalarati. And not reading Bhagavatam, not hearing Srimad Bhagavatam every day. So the question is, if we can tolerate discomforts for the temporary success, why can't we tolerate uncomforts for the eternal success? Right? Why can't we tolerate for the eternal success? Because if you compare the coal and diamond, both are carbon. What is the difference? The purity is the difference. Right? The coal and the diamond both are same. Both are made of carbon. But the difference is only the purification. So the pressure and the purification is the difference. So we should all become spiritually advanced so that we will not remain like a coal, we will remain like a diamond. Right? And nothing great is achieved without tapasya. Please understand this. Even in fact, in 24th verse, Krishna is telling, I created, I maintained, I destroyed using the tapasya. Using the tapasya, and that tapo energy is myself. Krishna is mentioning here. Okay. So the material tapasya gives the temporary success, whereas the devotional tapasya gives eternal perfection. So in fact, Krishna is doing austerity. In Dwapara Yuga, when Krishna took a form, in fact, you can see in 10th canto, the Krishna's activities. Krishna wakes up early in the morning. He does tapasya, and he does yajna, and he does charity, and then he does charity, cows charity to the Brahmins. Lot of activities that he does as a tapasya. And in fact, Krishna in this verse, he is telling that, with the potency of tapasya only, I'm creating, I'm maintaining, I'm destroying. This is the greatness of tapasya. So even Krishna can demonstrate tapasya. Why can't we take up this tapasya as a sadhana that I have mentioned now? With the tongue, with the time, with the ego, with mind. Why can't we do those bare minimum tapasya that is very much essential for us to get the eternal success? Okay. He says he has created and withdrawn using the tapasya. Tapasya is a divine principle, but not suffering. Okay, but not suffering. Okay, so the conclusion of today's topic, we will see the Brahma's confusion ended not through argument or the intellectual and energy that he has or the external achievement. Okay, so his achievement is through surrender and tapasya. Okay, surrender and tapasya. So the final takeaways for today is the confusion can become a doorway for surrender. The confusion can become a doorway for surrender. Tapasya is Swayam Krishna, Krishna's heart and soul. Tapasya is Swayam Krishna. And the real austerity means choosing Krishna over our impulses. And the devotional tapasya produces the detachment. That also we learned, right? Devotional tapasya produces detachment. Krishna may remove temporary things to give the eternal shelter. That also we have seen. Avanti Brahman story we have seen. And in fact, Bali Maharaj story we have seen. Okay. So the material tapasya or the tapasya that we are doing is for the temporary success, but whereas the devotional tapasya is for eternal success. So bhakti without sacrifice, bhakti without success remains very superficial. Bhakti without sacrifice, like we see, right? We want comfort. We said we want comfort. I will tell two examples what the comfort means. In fact, Prachina Barhi was ruling his own kingdom greatly. In fact, he was doing a lot of austerities, a lot of sacrifices he was doing. But Narada Muni said, this is your comfort zone. In fact, he has explained the complete story of Puranjana. Okay, Puranjana story explained in which he said, Puranjana is none other than you. So give up all these material positions and take the bhakti. So Prachina Barhi said, yes, I'm realizing it now. He has become a devotee. But what he said, I will wait for my sons to come back from tapasya. His sons went for tapasya and they will come back after some years. Once they come back, I will renounce. Okay. Then Narada Muni said one allegory. He said there is a deer who is having a family and eating the grass in the forest. And there are two dangers that are there. One from the front side, one from the back side. And the front side danger is the time, and the back side danger is the mruchu. He compared those dangers with a lion who is ready to eat the deer, and another a hunter who is ready to release the arrow for killing the deer. But the deer is not caring about these two dangers and happily enjoying with the family and eating. Okay, what happened to deer? So there is an urgency for taking up the devotional service. That's what he mentioned. Narada Muni said, there is an urgency for taking up the devotional service. You cannot wait for your sons to come back. Okay. So So he said, as long as you are in your comfort zone, you cannot perform your bhakti. You should come out of your comfort zone to perform bhakti. Then that is real bhakti. Take some uncomforts, which is tapasya. Okay. And if you take another example of Narada himself, Narada was performing bhakti when he was in a forest. Right? He has done great tapasya. And in fact, he has seen Krishna also for a moment. Jalak darshan. Krishna has given him a darshan for a few seconds. And immediately he lost the darshan and he was searching for Krishna. Then what did Krishna say? Doing sadhana in forest is your comfort zone. Give up your comfort zone and roam around the world and preach about me. Right? So he has taken tapasya. The preaching about Krishna is the tapasya that he has taken, and the entire world he was roaming to preach about Krishna. This is tapasya he has taken. Then he realized more than what he could realize by sitting at one place and meditating upon Krishna. Right? So the uncomfort that he is taking for the pleasure of Krishna is tapasya, devotional tapasya that one has to take. Sitting in comfort zone is not tapasya. We all are sitting here is a tapasya. This is not a comfort. We all are, our body is paining, our time is getting over, we have to go to offices, but still we are reluctant to sit, but still sitting. This is tapasya. Right? So this is uncomfortably taking the pleasure in devotional service. And bhakti without sacrifice remains superficial. This is we have seen. And the more purified we become, the more Krishna reveals himself. Okay. So by the uncomfort, we get purified. By the purification, we get to know about Krishna more and more. Okay. This is the very important essence of today's lesson. Material life says how much I can enjoy, whereas Bhagavatam says how much I can purify my consciousness for Krishna. Okay. Let's all not give up what the service that we are doing. Let's all chant more and more. And this month is Purushottama month. Let's increase our austerity more and more so that we get benefited and we realize Krishna more and more. Okay, we may be able to see Krishna face to face, like how Brahmadev has seen now, and talking with Krishna face to face. Okay, so let's all hope for that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.